message is sent out to a panel of coaches, and the coaches now identify the lists, and from the lists now it is narrowed down in terms of priority. Because even if we sit here as Paul and Juan and Maxine, and I ask you to give me 20 players from who you think should be in the national team.
I think Pato's question was more of who now trims the list to the 12 to say that player kicks aendi. Toa huyu kwa list. Alikuwa kwa ile list ya 25 tumeambiwa to reduce to 18.
Alikuwa kwa hiyo 18 hadi akajipack.
Amepack aja no communication hapo. So ndo ajipate airport. Like your process juu obviously government itakwambia mmeleta list ya 25 but we are just taking 18. We can any list ya kesi ya Philip Ombajo. And I think he was acquitted before even going to the like sexual harassment. So ilikuwa acquitted at I think the channel first like KBF ikishunda kunini ndo labda next because I think the case ilikuwa I think wewe na Make and I don't know the third guy.
Wagwan. Umenishtua bro. Wagwan. Huyu jamaa hajakuwa.
Nani?
Huyu. Wewe umekuja sahi. Wewe mimi sijaona huyu mtu mimi. Wewe amekaa leo. Amechangamka leo. Wagwan Bobby J.
Wagwan.
Nisalimia happy new year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Ni paka January
hadi ishe.
January 35th ikifika tunamaliza Wagwan. Happy New Year.
75th. January 75th.
Yeah. Wagwan lakini.
Wagwan.
Kofiti.
Kabisa bro.
Kila mtu ako fine. Naona mazee. Nashukuru.
Hata sisi tunashukuru man.
Karibu sana wana Fallen One. Another episode. Noma sana.
Back to back.
Atuladi. Hey, baba tulisema nini 2025 ni mwaka ya kulazimisha. Na force lines.
Very important.
Yeah, so tuko hapo shughuli tu. Kama kawaida. Na special guest
of course
in the building. Tunashukuru, it has been a while ama 2 years. Tangu tuanze kupanga interview akam.
Yes.
So finally guest amefika. RJ Putbakwanjala, built for the 90s, aka positionless player 254, one and only.
Of course.
Ndio niambie mwingine kama
endelea na introduction.
Hapo tu ndo nafika. Niliretire nikaenda nikarudi Pole sana. Incoming something. Yeah.
Joseph Ombam aka Bobby J point God. Pia mimi natafuta sijui assistance. Ni secretary.
Leo umeisema?
Assistant fixed secretary.
But amesema hiyo something.
Sijaimuona. Nishaona jina yake but sijaimuona, so nataka ku replace.
Hayuko serious na kazi yake.
Hayuko serious. Sijaimuona mimi. Acha niweke msimamo kama kuna competitor. Ajitokeze ndio tuna mega.
Hapana. Unaweza mshinda nani?
Pato wood na sapa JPT kama kawaida incoming SG. Mimi naona ile ndovu kubwa.
Wewe mbona umeona maposta huko nje?
Sijaona posta yako. Unajua wewe kwanza usitoe hiyo sura yako sana.
Nilikwambia campaign strategy ni tofauti. Mimi naendelea popular vote, mimi naendelea delegate. Niliwaambia. Situlambia last weekend.
So far umefika wapi na?
Wewe usijali, eka note.
Utapata hata ujulikani wewe, acha bana. Usituzie uoga.
Siwezi expose my strategy.
Ungetafuta ile unaenda unopposed.
Kama hapo enda tu uko chini utafute kitu ama uwe co-opted.
Hapana wewe kwani unaniweka je ndogo? Ona use. Ni kama mimi children.
Mradi uko ndani.
Wewe acha. Kitu kubwa either I'm out or in.
Sawa.
Una katikati.
Sawa JPT na ni 1 minute a season.
Kama kawaida.
Omba mnasikia kwanza ushamfanyia ile kitu.
nilikuwa na 3 minutes a season. Ombama ame reduce to 1 minute a season.
Bro, mbona
wananifukuza
team? Wache tu achana na
wananifukuza team.
Uconcentrate na media ba. Kama imekataa yani. Sijui huyu jamaa analazimisha nini?
Bado sijaretire.
Zero talent, zero.
Hakuna skill.
Inakubalika. Leo tuko na guest hapa wenye tumesema na kama kawaida mnajua for and one we do not introduce our guests. Tunachanga guest pige tarumbeta yake parapanda kila kitu. So guest wewe introduce wewe mwenyewe, wewe unajua venye utafanya kazi mzuri.
Na AK zako zote.
AK zako zote.
Okay, my name is Milimu, aka Kushla. The current team manager for the Kenya Morans, which is the national men's basketball team. I also am in the Kenya Basketball Executive Committee. I handle the legal business as well as operations sometimes and communications for the Road to Bal. I was in charge of that. I'm a lawyer and land expert. Specializing on gender and land rights. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Rolls bana. Leo tuko na maloya hapa
Learned friends bana.
Hey, learned friend. Itakuwa ni wagwan.
Nakwambia.
So Madzin, wewe umekuwa TM from mimi hata nikiulizwa sidhani kana najua TM mwingine wa national team. I think you're the only TM that I know since time nilianza kufuatilia ya basketball activity that was around 2018 hapo 2018. Ile time yenye mlikuwa na team, ile time mliassemble the Avengers. Yeah, the Avengers. So that is the time I started following the national team. Na wewe ndio umekuwa TM kutoka your time, so you've been the TM for a while. So me, I just wanted to ask you, my first question is, what are some of the achievement that you guys have had, some of the challenges zenye pia mmekuwa nazo all through kuanzia ile time yenye uliingia mpaka sasa?
Okay. So yeah, 2018, that was the first time that I joined the Morans. I used to be a player, got an accident, couldn't play. Linked up with some of the international players because we thought it best to bring back the team. So tukaweka strategies, which was talking to all our diaspora players, finding out when they would be available so that we could assemble, finding out when the next tournament would be so that tujipange. There was a national team and there were other team managers before me. In fact, my first stint at that was in 2017. However, in 2017, I didn't get to travel with the team. However, I learned the ropes of the game. Yes, so I have been there officially since 2019, July, up to date. Some of the challenges that we have faced, or our achievements, are quite many. I think from the time that we started bringing the team together, imekuwa into the limelight. So many of us know, initially ilikuwa inaitwa NT, so we decided to rebrand it to Morans, which was something that was more relatable with everyone, and it's something that if you mention, someone will automatically link it to the national.
No, they stole from us. That's what I wanted to say.
No,
the name from
no.
They should give us credit for that.
Okay.
They should pay us royalty.
Okay, but originally the Moran is the Maasai warrior. So definitely if you represent the country, you're doing it as a warrior for the country. So that is the original thinking. I don't know what the original thinking for your Sasa Morans is, but for the Morans, I think that's, if you've seen some of our logos, there's always a Maasai warrior that is there. So that was the first thing that we did, rebranded to the Morans so that it was relatable to our fans. Secondly, we assembled the team. I talked to all of our players who are abroad, also talked to our players who are here, and together with Desmond, who supported the team for a very long time, came up with a team. So with that, for the first tournament, we won gold, which we played in Uganda. That tournament, and
we were there.
Yeah, he was there. I remember him dancing with us during that time. that tournament ensured that we qualified for African, which was the first tournament for promoting most of the local players to be part of a continental tournament.
Yeah.
After African, qualifying for African, we went to African in Mali. After that, where we got the silver medal. You remember the silver medal that people keep on saying that it was not the silver medal that we expected, but all in all, for us, it was an achievement because it's a position we had not been in since 1994. Yeah, so after that, we proceeded to now draw a roadmap of how we get back into continental championships.
Yeah.
And after African, what was next was definitely Afrobasket.
Yeah.
So we did some research, found out what it takes to be in Afrobasket, and we realized that we had to go through a pre-qualifying stage. If you remember the 2020 games in Nyayo, those were the pre-qualifiers, where we proudly, I'm proud to say that we are amongst the very few countries who has beaten South Sudan and the Luoldeng, which is something that most countries are still struggling to do.
Achievement.
Yeah, it is an achievement. Then we qualified for Afrobasket qualifiers, which is the next stage. And with that we had a roadmap. We had to, we asked ourselves how many games do we need to win to qualify for Afrobasket. We told ourselves we need to win at least 2 games. So that's what we did. We won 2 games. Yeah. So it's about strategy and seeing which team to beat at what time. So there have been challenges. Other achievements is we went back to Afrobasket after 1994 to 2001. How many years is that? Yeah, that many years. We went back to Afrobasket.
17.
Yes.
Yeah, and we finished 9th in the tournament, which was very good for us. We beat Mali. Mali is an African giant. Yeah. Seeing from their U16 and U18 teams and the caliber of players that they produce. Then that also meant that qualifying for Afrobasket also meant that we qualified for World Cup qualifiers, which is how it happened. So those are some of the achievements, and we continue to achieve many other milestones. Currently, we have a lot of our players playing internationally. We have had our players being called to very great teams as a result of being part of this journey. So I believe those are some of the achievements that we have had over the last 5 or so years. With achievements, kuna kuanga na challenges as usual. Yeah, in terms of the national team belongs to obviously the government, and we receive funding through the Ministry of Sports, and sometimes 1 or 2 times or once it didn't come, and we had to sort other means so as to not get banned. We've had coaches come and go. We've had bloggers on our necks. We've had a lot of things. The challenges.
Fans were very expectant.
Yeah, we've had a lot of challenges, but I believe we've learned from them. Every time we try to make it better. I think most of the things that come out usually come out of hearsay, because when you talk to the players, they're like us, we are focused, we are ready for this. But when you leave the gym, it's like, I remember there's a day, I think it's Pato who was like, tell me why you've not paid players their allowances. I was like, we have a system, there's a way it works, and everyone agrees. And I think some vitu zingine ni in-house, you don't need to write about it. Other than that, it's been a great journey, and for me, being, I think, the only one in Africa who's doing this for a men's team, I think I'm proud of the strides so far.
Yeah.
Okay. That's quite a milestone.
Umezisema mingi.
So mi naangalia as an upcoming TM pia mimi nimekuwa nakaa 2 years. Sina hiyo experience vile mwana yako ni almost 7 years in from 2018. Can you give us what are some of the roles of a TM?
some of the roles, this is not one of them. Actually today, this morning, I was asking my players, who wants to come with me to be the center of this interview? So for you, it's just ensure that for the national team, ensure that the team trains, the team travels, and by the first whistle, the team is in court, properly dressed, properly registered, and we can compete. So ensure that you put the team in a position to compete. The rest of the work, how the team prepares and whatever, that is the coaching stuff. However, the team manager handles all the back end work. Also be the link between the government and the team when you are outside of the country, as well as be the link between the team and the federation. So you have to have a tripartite relationship between the players, the federation, and the government. So
logistics.
It's part of it. I'll just explain that it's you have to ensure
travel register. You want to go rudi roba your tripet
tripartite.
Hiyo inaweza nitegua but so Ombam, I hope umesikia. Make sure we are well dressed and well fed. Well fed. Ajongelea chakula, mambo ya chakula pia uangalie.
Yeah, well fed. You have
to well fed
so that we compete.
You have to have a proper diet. When you're in championship, you have to ensure watu wakienda Cairo, the spread is too wide. You have to ensure that watu wakuli kila kitu before grand prix. Because
kuna watu wengine
because you see sometimes mtu akiwa pale kuna vitu zina coincide, now you have to ensure that the players wako in proper shape. So luckily for me, most of the players that we have are professionals and they know what they need to do, what they don't need to do. So sitai kwanza kukwambia we toa hiyo ice cream hapo bila kunywa maji, no.
Unajua kwa nini uendi national team roba?
Mimi vitu kama hiyo kwa food tu.
Naenda kwa official si anaweza kula kitu yote.
So what's the mood currently for training camp?
I was actually talking to someone a few minutes ago, and I was saying that this year I can confidently say that this is the year that the tournament, that the mood is 100%. The players are focused, the team is focused. I think this year apart from venue issues here and there, which Pato has been on my neck about. I think the team, the mood of the camp is very good. In fact, we had a session this morning. It was nice. Then we had breakfast as a team, laughed. So they currently they're still doing some things that they do to ensure that they're ready. So the mood is good this time around.
Nice.
Pato.
Maybe it's not swali.
Nakupatia chance ushine.
Niulize swali.
Hizo swali hata bana.
Okay, there was that list that ilitolewa ya national team selection. But so far players tumepija practice zenu three times I think. Kuna watu hawajaishow kuna watu hatujaiona and they are local based players. I don't know what is happening.
Ama list ishaanza
kuslashiwa.
Stage anza kupunguzwa. Sometimes unapata because of sometimes the schedule, unapata some of the players wamekuwa unavailable, but most of them wamesema starting from next week they'll be available because sasa tumeingia the official 4-week window to the tournament. So from next week those who will be available. The team had 23 players. From the 23 players, I think we have 4 players who are coming from outside. There's 1 player from Burundi, a player from Kampala, we have a player from the US. I can guarantee you that the player from the US will be landing soon, and maybe if you talk to me nicely, you'll get an exclusive.
You already know.
Get an exclusive from this player. young player that we have been in talks for the last 2 years. He's 21 years of age, and I think his experience and size will be important for the tournament that we are going
I
to.
think that must be Ian.
Yeah.
I've been watching his highlights kidogo. He's solid. Atasaidia sana.
Yeah.
So my question is, players kama Lennox Wanje, we have Dismas, Alberto Dero. These are players that are locally based. Did they communicate that they're not going to honor the call?
Yeah, in fact, yesterday morning, I had a conversation with Lennox and Salim. They're traveling to Nairobi on Monday. They will be at training on Tuesday. I've talked to Albert Odero. He had took a break to go be with his family. He's currently not around. He is in the US.
Yeah.
But he has committed to be here. So we are confident that Albert is coming. About this match, he requested to join the group. We went for one training. His coach, the training we had at NIS, his coach requested that he plays for Thunder because they didn't have a point guard on that day because all of them were on this other side. So that is the reason that I have been given so far. He has not indicated any other reason why he has not showed up for practice. But other than that is the list that we have. So I don't have any excuses, or I have not received any reason why someone who was in the list has not showed up.
Okay. So apart from ushasema kuna players wanakuja umenijibu.
Umekatikiwa hapo.
I think tunaenda window 2 ama inaitwaje? Tulikuwa na the first window.
Nilikuwa Tunisia.
Afrobasket works like this. There's a new quality until 2019. 2020 there was a new, initially ilikuwa you play zone 5 you qualify for Afrobasket. But now they changed because they wanted to have more tournaments and engage the players more. So what happens is that we have 3 windows of Afrobasket qualifiers. So the groups are divided into A, B, C, and D, and E. So the first lot of the groups played in Tunisia last year at a time like this year, February. Then the next window, the second window was the one that was played in Dakar, where the other 2 groups played. And then the third window, which all teams play. Out of the teams, each group has 4 teams. From the 4 teams, only 3 qualify. Yeah.
Okay.
So currently we are in a good position because we won against Guinea by 6 points. I think we're in a good position because we are third in the group. That ensures that if the window does not happen,
if worst comes to worst,
if worst comes to worst and the window does not happen, we are automatically qualified. However, we are prepared for the window.
Kulikuwa na any chance Kenya ingehost hizo games?
Yeah, we bidded. I think as Kenya we bidded to host because I think it would have been nice. Most of our players, this is their last stint, and they wanted to play at home in front of their fans, their moms, their wives, and all that. So the bid was made. Ni pata potea. So you get some, you don't get some. Depending on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So kuna swali yenye imekuwa na utata for a long time, and it's good that you're here, so maybe you can just help to explain to the people the process of the selection MT.
Okay.
Since I believe as the TM lazima you sit on the committee that selects the team, the 23 people. Kwa sababu sengine utasikia ukishia everywhere kwa social media unaona watu wanasema player A is better than B, lakini hajaitwa. Tukienda na stats, this player is better than this and player hajaitwa. So like tusaidie to understand like what do you guys look at when you're selecting the players?
Okay, so I think the initial long list comes from coaches. So I think the SG, the federation, reaches out to coaches across the divisions, and also coaches within the Premier League, to give a list of 20 where we can, the panel now will sit and narrow it down to at least 23. Because if I ask 6 coaches to give me a list, there are names that will appear across all the six lists. So a panel, a message is sent out to a panel of coaches, and the coaches now identify the lists, and from the lists now it is narrowed down in terms of priority. Because even if we sit here as Paul and Duane and Maxine, and I ask you to give me 20 players from who you think should be in the national team, I think out of the 20, 15 will be the same across the board.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
that is
Ingawa
what,
15 ni mingi, but
15 no
because you have 60. We have 60. I have four coaches. Give me
15 each. At least you'll
20. You'll have
I'll
at
have
least
at least 15.
Okay.
15.
Definitely.
Yeah, at least 15, because if it's 20, that means 5. That's another 20 players who each coach has decided for whatever reason they think they should be in the national team. Then secondly, it's also informed by the statistics. Many team managers from these top teams will tell you that I usually reach out to them to ask them for statistics. And then I hardly ever miss games. I think most of the times you'll find me at Nyayo observing and looking at what is there to be offered, who's improving, who is not, just to also have an idea of how this person will fit into the system that we currently have. Also, the national team coach, once selected, has a say on who ends up in the final list. So
Also, the coach is a part of the final list selection team committee.
the coach has a say in the final list before the list is released.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
So it's not just Maxine sitting in her room in where I live and then deciding that today Pato has been a very good friend of mine. I want him in the national team. So it does not work like that.
Yeah, so for me, like the process you've described, I think looking at it from a statistics point of view, if I'm having 10 coaches giving me lists, I'm wondering, are all these 10 coaches thinking, because from the 23, I think 11 or 12 are NCT players.
Yeah.
So all these coaches from across are just thinking NCT is better than even my players. So like,
yeah.
say, for example, Strathmore.
Yes.
When Tony was given the list, he didn't even select Koja.
He did.
Or
Timo.
or Waweru. We like,
You do realize that when you select the list, you also have to look at the injury, the state, the health of the player.
yeah.
Some of these players that you would think are healthy, you go first session, second session, our physio tells us, this one, apana, hayuko healthy. So, and before that, I always communicate, especially to these young players, and I say that we are watching what you're doing. So kindly be healthy. It's not, I don't think that coaches were like, oh, NCT players are better than the players that I have in my team. However, NCT and its formulation and how it came about, when you talk to Kushen, when you talk to Colin, the idea was to bring the national team players in a place where, to put them in a place where it will be easy for us to qualify. And that is what Kushen told me in the initial stages. And that is why when even Albert came to Kenya, I was like, okay, so I think that this outfit works best for you because these are the reasons that they're saying that they're assembling the team. So if if someone is willing to assist me in reducing the flight costs to Nairobi for practice, then why not? I don't think any manager will be in a position to cater that situation. Would you?
Of course not, but I think that will create another hula baloo with other team managers. Say from Umoja, from Umoja you have Victor Bosire, who has been in the national team. If NCT was purely based on creating a team that will help the national team, they should be going for Victor Bosire to be part of the team.
But who told you they didn't?
They should be, so Bosire refused.
I don't know.
It's one way or the other, because for me it feels like NCT is helping the national team to that end.
It's not helping the national team. They have their own reasons why they assemble the team. Maybe Bal is one of them, whatever is one of them. But for me, I think, I'm telling you, when I sat down with Kush, and this is what he told me about whatever. If you know, then most of the national team players, he brought Okal from Oman. He brought Fidel. They brought Fidel from Oman. They brought Tyler from Germany, or is it Russia? They brought Ogechi from Spain. They brought Fahim from Equity. They brought Eugene from Equity. So I think it's something that they came up with. It's not about NCT having the most players in the national team, but it's about the quality they also give and the statistics that they also present. When you look at the statistics,
so it's a challenge to other coaches to also.
It's a challenge to statistics, statistics, and also look at what we have out there. What Thunder has, I can tell you for free. What Thunder has is not it's amongst the best, but it's not all that Kenya has to offer internationally.
Yep.
If I was a coach, for instance, and I see on the list that we have people like Ekiru coming in, we have people like Ian Ochieng coming in, reach out. Maybe they want to play in Kenya, you never know.
Sifuma is coming.
Sifuma as well. He's playing in Uganda, but no coach has reached out. He's a very good player. No coach has reached. Look, the market is very wide. Look at how many Kenyans are playing outside and how they would assist your team. Don't limit your scope to Ombam plays well in your Sasa Morans, and your Sasa Morans last year maybe walitufunga, so I offer Ombam 10,000 shillings more for him to come to my team. Expand your scope, and I think that's what Thunder did. They expanded the scope, and you can't blame them for that. They had their own goals, and everyone has their own goals.
Pesa ndio shida tu.
Also, as the team, you are like trips to go to watch those players in Russia.
Recruit.
Yeah, I actually do across Africa, but this is not funded by anyone. I fund it myself.
Wow.
I've been to leagues in Burundi, in Rwanda. I always go for BAL. It's something, it's initiative. It's initiative. I wouldn't say that, now I need to go watch. When Tyler was the first, or Bush was the first player to play in the BAL in Kigali, I come to the federation and say, now Bush is the first player to play the BAL.
But
Ideally, it should be like that. But in the current situation that we are in Kenya, forget Kenya Basketball Federation. In Kenya, is it possible? Is it possible for you to do that? It is not.
To go forward.
Yeah. So for you to be ahead of the pack, you have to also show initiative, and that's what I believe.
Okay, TM, my question, you've already mentioned that you are the link between the government and KBF, all the players, right? So that means you are in charge of all the tickets and everything, right?
No. There's a system that... Okay, just ask your question.
Okay. So I needed to know, because we had incidents in the past whereby some players were left stranded at the airport. They had to come back, like kids You remember?
I remember that issue.
So I don't know. Just to
Well,
explain.
TM, sindio?
No.
But still, maybe.
Yeah, you are not, yes, but you have an idea what happens. That's why you need to explain
You can
to
just
us your criteria.
Flip it to
Yeah.
Gaia being left behind.
Yes, you are Gaia.
So what happens is the federation does a budget, submits it to the Ministry of Sports. What I said is I'm the link between the government. Once we leave the country, at country stage, the SG, as the CEO of the federation, handles most of the things. But the SG cannot go for all trips. So that's why you become the conduit, because we always travel with government officials. Let me get that out of the way.
Okay.
So we prepare a budget, submit it to the Ministry of Sports. Once that is done, it goes through a whole process that takes a long time. Then it is approved. What happens is there's a procurement office that once approved, now your file goes to the sports fund, SASDAF. So the sports fund is the one that is holding money in trust for the ministry for all these trips. So now for procurement of tickets, all these types of procurement, it's done directly by the government. Payments of the players is done directly to
By the
players.
government. I think
By the government. So what I do, or what the SD does, is collect account numbers, ensure that the account numbers are correct, because once your number or his number is wrong, the whole transaction will go wrong. You know accounting systems.
Yes.
So the ticketing is done at procurement levels. Payments are done at whatever level. So the interaction with money with me is almost minimal.
So,
I think in 2017, to go back to your question, this system had not been set up. So initially, what happens is the government decides, maybe you put in a budget for 25 people, and then during the process, the long processes that I've told you, and justification, the list is reduced to X amount. So that you have to find a balance of, now we've been given 18 positions to travel. So who goes and who stays? You have to ensure that at least 12 players go. Yeah? So that we have an actual 10 to 12 players travel, so that you have an actual team. Then you have to ensure that you have a team manager to ensure the runnings of and to have the 2 coaches. The government official is not
even in the
itinerary of the federation. That one, they handle it at their level. Yeah. So you're told we have 15 spots. These are the people that have to go. So now it's a balance. You have to ensure that you have a team that FIBA will accept to play. You have a manager that will ensure the running. You have a team doctor that is important, a team physio that is important, so that at the very least, the team is comfortable.
I hope you understand why we are asking these questions, because out here
kuna watu tu tunataka wajue
Exactly.
I understand. I have been seeing them. I have been seeing them. I just don't respond because I feel like some questions or some things are usually asked from a point of no knowledge.
Ignorance.
And I believe sometimes it's good to ask. I saw Foul and One's interview with Heshimiwa Orero, and it was quite open. He didn't pull back from answering any of the questions that you people asked. So I believe that if you ask respectfully, it will be answered. The problem is sometimes mtu anakuja
na vita
ni attack mood.
Anajijua.
And sometimes even as we are human beings, probably that specific day, I've had a bad day, and then umekuja attack mood, and then you're like, you want me to pamper you, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, ask your question nicely. It's It's not human, yeah. It's quite unfair. If you ask respectfully, I think it would be answered, and that's why you can see the cordiality that I have with a lot of people. Yeah.
So for me, I think Pato's question was more of who now trims the list to the 12 to say that player kicks aendi toa huyu kwa list. Alikuwa kwa ile list ya 25 tumeambiwa to reduce to 18.
Alikuwa kwa hiyo 18 hadi akajipack.
Amepack aja no communication hapo. So ndo ajipate airport. Like your process juu obviously government itakwambia mmeleta list ya 25 but we are just taking 18. We can only take 18. So give us 18 ndo wabukio ticket na jina ya Robert Juma anaenda. So lazima mtasema toa huyu ndo waende wabukio ticket. Weze book to an open ticket without name and everything. Then ukifika huko nikwambia sasa wewe hii ticket.
But kama ni players.
Yeah.
What did I say about who handles
The final is coach.
The coach. But now for me the part of communicating, because I believe coach anaweza communicate. The TM also can communicate the player and say kids out end.
Yeah, but that was in 2017 and
it has been a problem hata kwa 3x3 even recently
with the Dima.
I don't know
there was some
3x3 experience.
kumekuwa na issue hata kwa hiyo 3x3 where player is being called, wengine mnaenda zoezi for the 3 weeks alafu maybe the last 2 or 3 days unaona new faces coming in. These people have been in camp mpaka siku ya mwisho, unajua unaishia trip or whatever, then ikifika hiyo day your name is not there.
I believe the procedure is the same. Kama ni national team inaenda nje ikuwe 3x3 ama 5-on-5 ama national team, the procedure still remains the same. But for the mass case was so demoralizing that because hata jezi alikuwa ameprintiwa. Iko na jina yake huko nyuma. Na bado still hakuenda. So it is quite unfortunate who communicates to these players.
Hiyo communication ndio inakonga shida.
For me, I honestly can only speak for the Morans. And for me, we
Morans haina shida.
I communicate. We communicate and it's done. And on request, the players raised it and we call you and we tell you that probably hauendi, however, kuja practice usaidie A, B, C, and D. I believe last year, if you talk to, I think, Brands and Ken Washira, they will tell you that communication was done. The communication is hard to do because if you're left with 15 players, this means that these are actually the best 15 that you have in camp that time. So only 12 can play. Even if we go 15, only 12 can play. Only 12 can be registered. Only 12 can be in the final list. So at the end of the day, it's a hard decision, and I believe maybe you can have the manager for the 3x3 team to come and give an explanation or a response. But for me, I think I can confidently and only speak on behalf of the Morans.
Yeah, these are things that demoralize players. I think other the issues. Tunapata mtu anapewa call up na anafail kukuja.
Funny thing, even me, your story at airport, it happened to me, but you don't wallow in it forever. Yeah?
They left you?
Yeah, I was, and I had PTSD at the airport for a very long time. Even when you've paid for your own ticket, you're like, am I really going? You still have that PTSD, but then you don't wallow. You don't wallow in that. You rise above. You rise above and you move forward.
Kuna say soft bana. There's some people kwenye kitu hiyo hata I recover.
Me I usually naambianga Morans kusema tu ikutoke ama
enda mahali ulie.
Ama enda mahali ulie
kwa sababu
hapa kama ni emotions na wapi, if there's someone who's to have the most emotions and allowed, it's me. Because of my gender, obviously. However, you rise above whatever. Ukienda ulie, next time uitwe, you work hard, utaenda. Case in point, mimi nasemanga Eugene alikuwa anashinda akikuja, all of a sudden anaumia, all of a sudden COVID, all of a sudden sijui nini. There's a time even his team at that time wakatuandikia barua kusema why are you dropping or insinuating that huyu ako na covid na hana tumetest hana so you're like okay team doctor ametupatia results iko positive nyinyi mumetest mnasema hana sasa sisi of course tutaenda na team doctor wetu because we test twice every 2 days so COVID was also a challenge, let me just say. Yeah.
It was.
So, and now Eugene, I don't think hiyo ndege inaweza toka hii Kenya kama Eugene yuko ndani. So you just you prove yourself, you establish, and then si kusema ati Eugene anaenda mali kunaendwa, but he has to still work hard, but then for now
ashaonesha hiyo
Yep.
which is good. I think in our last episode tuliongea about a different we gave a list of 12 players who are not in the 23 who we felt should have been considered at some point, but from your explanation probably the coaches didn't see fit.
Is it okay if I hear the names?
Yes.
Just for
so kuna the four Strathmore tulianza nao.
For Strathmore,
Waweru,
Timo na Dualo.
Sasa ameenda iko.
Okay, we are saying this juu sisi tulikuwa tuna live stream most of the games. So we used to be there, we used to see these players. Mimi nilikuwa naangalia stats za kila msee nikidu commentary. So I felt like some of these people were supposed to be there.
Okay.
Wanne tulianza nao.
Then tunaenda the NCTP, I think kulikuwa na 4. Ogechi, Derek Ogechi.
He's on the list.
Yes, ndio tunasema like it's a 12. Unataka tupate wale wako kwa list kabisa. Fahim.
That's what I thought.
Fahim ilikuwa mostly because at some point mlikuwa mnaenda naye as joyrider, tuseme tuweke in quotes joyrider because
as the future of
and apart
experience nini. Sai watu tulisema wameenda the other side, watu wanaenda last stint downhill bado wako kwa team. Ule mtu alikuwa like side ndio angekuwa the face of the NT yuko, so ni kama kuko na return of investment that part. For him kulikuwa na
tulisema Pato, you say you had Pato. And then we had someone from KPA. As the keep on forgetting. Let's first just react to those who can remember right now.
Only 5. You only first 5. I think the rest of the list ilikuwa ni wale wameitwa but wako kwa hiyo age group tulikuwa tunaona fit for
like the young,
and that hiyo ilikuwa ni Ogechi, Odero Albert.
Ogechi tulieka hapo Eugene was there, tukaweka Dima hapo pia.
Otega pia kwa hiyo continuity, kuna time alienda na hiyo
Otega was
exposure.
Otega is still there. I think let me just answer on the 4 Strathmore players. The 4 Strathmore players are injured. If you reach out to them, you'll find out that they're injured. Jack had a surgery late last year. He's still recovering. Timo is also still recovering. Koja is also still recovering. So for Fahim, I think even for the bag, he had an injury. I asked why he's not getting he's not playing. He has not been getting minutes in Thunder. Also, he has not in actually I think in Dar es Salaam he didn't play.
He had an injury. Remember,
exactly.
You see, it was an ankle.
He's been
even go.
He didn't go. He didn't travel.
He's been in and out of injury. So for me, the basic and main justification is these players were injured.
They are not healthy.
They were not healthy.
So if these players were healthy, sahi ingekuwa different
national team. It would have been different, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
But kwa injury pia bado Fahim lazima nimtetee ni mtu wa shauri kidogo. Kwa injury kuna vile anaweza kuja kwa national team ana rehab akikuwa within the team, because kama sahi akona injury probably mnasema, but Eldoret amecheza. The last game amecheza.
The last friendly ile tukio
last wakicheza na NCT when Tuesday. Amecheza. So I think your rehab part muiteni mkakwe 24 bus.
Hapo chance. At least tomorrow you return.
In Tunisia, I believe so. But for me, I believe sometimes if you take from a team manager's perspective, and Omba, I hope you come and succeed me when I officially
definitely
yes.
Because sometimes you get a player who is not in the best of health, and then akuje and the training in the national team is usually very rigorous and very very intensive. So akuje apate injury on your watch, and then the team will be like, where ulikuwa unataka player wa team X aumie ndio tukicheza nao tushindwe because blah blah blah. So I think players health is key. Your rehabilitation is key. If team yake ina nini, most of the time I remember tukicheza internationally, and that game, the game that we won, the historic game against Angola. Internationally, the team managers for players who play internationally will give you the amount of minutes that their players are supposed to play. The release letter, they'll say RJ should play 27 minutes max. And if you exceed, you start seeing calls coming in. For Tyler, alikuwa amepull hamstring. Tukamrequest, tukamwambia tu, hii game, this is what we need to win. Ngangana tu na hii, and then the Mozambique game we won't play. If you realize, the Mozambique game, we played less than 8 players. Because most of the players walikuwa na hiyo limitation ya minutes. So the previous day nikikusukuma ucheze 40 ama 38. The next game you have to reduce. This is just ndio akirudi kwa timu yake, health yake iko bado poa na bado anaweza saidia timu yake. Ni kwa vile tu maybe sisi ni not entirely we are semi professional. So that mtu utaambia mtu kuja ucheze agware alafu arudi team alafu, but in professional leagues, to be honest, you will be given minutes.
So mostly players wale wametoka huku teams huku mostly hakuna hiyo pressure from coaches.
Sometimes iko
so zingine ziko. Actually I wanted to ask you a question about Taylor, because the last game they had against ile team finals ya BAL, Euro to BAL, coach alisema alipata injury. I don't know how healthy he is right now. Alienda surgery, amepona, is he in a position to compete?
Ilikuwa mkono. Yes.
I think ali recover kwa sababu
he's still young.
I don't know, but I think he's recovered. Seeing from how he's been training, na vile aliangaliliwa na team physio, the team physio gave him a go ahead to play. So pia I think America, kama angekuwa America pia angekaa tu kwa bench.
Anyway, let's hope for the best. Tusitake watu wakuwe na injury. Me had a question on
bado sijamaliza.
Sawa. Nilijua utaongea sana.
On coaches, I wanted to hear Lorimulize maswali. On coaches, we've not seen coach Robert Mugabe. List.
Yes, he's on his way. He's coming. He'll be here next week. We had a conversation yesterday. He will be here next week.
Okay.
He's in Kampala. He will be here next week. You can also reach out to him to ask.
The guy who got me ejected. Sina beef na. So, my question was on the friendlies. Over the past years, of course, kumekuwa na hizi friendlies za national team, labda na the best team in local league, ama national team na local based, Kenyan based, Sudan, ama national team na sijui Div 1 the best, ama university. Tutakuwa na friendlies.
Yeah, we will.
Si utuambie ni kina nani?
We have just changed our strategy. We are looking into having friendlies with countries as well as friendlies with teams. So hizo zenye mention zitakuwa because those friendlies si ati zinakuanga very helpful for mtu kuona health ya team iko aje before mtoke, but we are still in talks with 1 or 2 countries to have
international friends.
Wanatulisha ile timu ya Uganda.
International friendlies once and when it's confirmed. Najua patota kwa WhatsApp
Vibaya sana. You already know.
So that's
Okay.
we're still in the pipeline.
Okay.
Nice. Do you also double up as the women and
No.
TM?
No.
At some point you are the TM
Yeah.
For both.
for both.
No. Right now, who is the
So-
team for ladies?
Currently the SG is doing
The TM.
is working with the team.
Wow.
Angela.
Is there an opening?
Wanzi hapo. Hatuwezi kuweka kwa mademu huko, wewe.
Yeah, they need a TM.
Yeah. They need a TM. You can't put the SG.
The SG to be
TM.
Sasa Obama anaomba kazi.
Yeah, naomba kazi.
Yeah, I believe the
So-
federation inakwanga na equal whatever. So for me,
And-
I believe gender is not a yardstick to be
Yeah.
a team manager.
Skip.
I've done it for 5 years for the men's team. So
Yeah.
I think if merit is merit, if we base our selection on meritocracy, we're okay.
tuonyeshe palipeleka hiyo CV tupeleke hapo.
Okay.
Hapo ndio tujue.
I'm completely trying to speculate here. Did you also leave the women and being the TM of the women and team solely because of the video?
The famous one.
Famous video.
I don't think so.
Because most of the players are not now part of the team because of the video.
For me, I didn't leave for that reason. I just felt that handling both teams would be heavy on me because at the end of the day, I still have a life. In Kenya, basketball is not bread and butter. So I believe that with the current situation and how my life was placed at that particular time, I believe one team would be easier for me or more easy for me to handle as compared to handling both teams. For myself, I can speak for myself saying that no, that was not the reason.
Yeah.
I just in the position and place I was at in my life at that time, and the relationship that we had built with the Morans, I thought for myself the Morans would be I would be better placed to support the Morans and not the Lionesses.
In controversial kidogo, do you think Betty Kananu being the MVP should have been in that team? The team that imetosa just wesi TM huko nini we kama kama tu play unaenda tu kuona
kama former player
former TM
interact na game. What do you think?
Blashika mtu hivi.
Nimewambia criteria,
MVP.
Nimewambia criteria. So that question should be directed to the right people. Mimi kwa hiyo sina opinion.
Personal opinion hakuna, hata personal opinion hakuna.
Hiyo si wewe ni fan.
Fan.
Personal opinion ni bora Kenya kuna amani. I will not be put
Hiyo lakini haijaleta amani but
Ni sawa. TMT au umesema SG ndio TM.
so we're gonna utamtafuta
After TM
come in
pato uko
ask
kutafuta SG
to come and
Ama ni
explain
Wanjara.
to us. SG
no,
nani
SG
SG nani
Angela.
Angie, yeah.
Ile siku tulienda training NT ya wasichana.
She was there. Yeah.
hata train juzi ya Tuesday mimi kiko huko
Yes.
alikuwa so hiyo okay
Enda uombe kazi bro.
Peleka CV.
Tutaonyeshwa ni wapi na.
mnataka jambo wa radio ni
Usimwogope bana. Kwa hapa na wewe.
Basi tumeongea sana bana.
tumeongea sana lakini ni sawa.
Kuna swali?
Bado kuna kitu inakuuma roho mbaya.
kulikuwa na swali moja hiyo ni basketball related but I just wanted to hear from you because you sat in that panel yenye ilisikia kesi ya Philip Ombajo and I think he was acquitted before even going to the like sexual harassment. So ilikuwa acquitted at I think channel first like KBF ikishinda kunini ndo labda next, because I think the case ilikuwa I think wewe na Make and I don't know the third guy. So on what basis? Because me I feel like sexual harassment is a very grave
because I saw some people criticizing you hard.
Let me speak on that.
It's good to
I
see.
believe that anything that is criminal as per the penal code of Kenya is and will still remain criminal.
Yeah.
Our mandate was not to investigate the sexual harassment whatever. What we did is advise the Federation on the steps to follow to ensure that the police or whoever the investigating body had ample time to investigate whatever was being investigated. So at that particular time, it's on record, our recommendation was to suspend pending investigation. That means that we have separated ourselves from the
investigation.
alleged, whatever was being alleged, to let the investigative authorities deal with the investigation as per the rules of the land. You don't mix up those things. When it comes to anything that is criminal as per the penal code, you separate to allow investigative bodies to investigate. So that is what happened. That is what was done. Yeah, people who have opinions on what I did and my role are entitled to it, but I'm also entitled to retaliate if and when I think that my personal character and my person was attacked. I believe as basketballers we should be able to separate the individual from the position. That is just what I believe. Because if you reached out to me and asked me personally what was happening, I would have answered you the same way I have answered at Foul and One. So separate the person from the office. Also to some things you might say that against the person might hurt their professional undertakings. Seme kama RJ ni wakili, and then I accuse you of something that touches on your personal character. It's
Until you hurt your professional career.
exactly. So we need to limit. At the end of the day, like I said, basketball is not bread and butter. Yeah.
Well put.
Sasa hii yangu ni final. Hii hata si swali. Mimi ulisema tu hapa nilikapcha ukianza ulisema you do legal for the federation. Is it pro bono ama kuna some chums kama ni pro bono? Leo tunatafuta pro bono.
After you talk to me outside the podcast.
Sawa.
Yeah, what I do is advice.
So my final question. The same question to pose to was here earlier. The state of women's basketball in Kenya right now, according to you, unaona ni wapi wanafaa kuimprove so that they can catch up to the men? Having played the league for so many years, that ulikuwa MVP I think 2 times.
Having played and also being part and parcel of the management of a women's team that is currently in the league. I forgot to say that I'm the team manager for the Swish basketball team.
Yeah, you guys are
Yes. Hiyo tunakubali.
Yeah, so I believe upcoming players tumekuwa na a gap between the generations of players. So we as the people who are now tuna exit the stage in terms of playing, to take up roles za ku mentor these young players in the game, si kumentor personally, kwa sababu watu wanasemanga mentorship ni ati sijui ni kuchukua ni hold mkono ukwe kama mimi. That's not what I mean. I mean kuna watu walikuwa wanoma sana back, there skills that they had that we are not seeing them anymore, so we need to mentor this, but to use basketball to mentor these kids, these young girls to get to that position, because I believe if we have 5 women's teams who are playing well, tutakuwa na a good competition. Angalia Zitek vile come up ikaanza kushinda Equity, ili shake up ni status quo kidogo. So we need to have, even my team, we are about to shake up status quo kidogo. And for me, I invite everyone to also come and watch women's basketball, because tunaweka men's basketball kwa pedestal lingine. When it's women's basketball, we rarely see watu wakishoot, we rarely see the interviews, we rarely see the highlights, the photos. We rarely see that. If we put them in the same pedestal, imagine what it will do. Because ukiweka highlight yangu leo, vile unaekanga ya Dera this week, next week. Imagine ukiweka ya a female player, the same way. People will start noticing that there's women's basketball in Kenya, because history has it that women's basketball has been doing way better than men's basketball. This is the first time since 5 years ago that Kenya is getting into BAL. So we should be about KPA during the inaugural AWBL was silver medalists. Think about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a challenge
for all the bloggers out there. Nataka tu hii window yenye inakuja. Are we in to win it all ama tuna rebuild hii kitu?
For the team, if you talk to all the players, they want to go back to Afrobasket. So people want to go back to Afrobasket. We don't want to be that team that came once and left. We want to be in the Afrobasket.
So we just need to be top 3.
We are there to win it all.
So for the bloggers, mi nasema tu, at the end of the day, kila mtu anatafuta unga, kila mtu akona nini. I've seen doing a very good analysis of our performances in the previous tournaments. It's good. He's following anatue contours. Good for him. I've seen him working with guys from other countries. I've seen him on live with Angola players and whatever. Maybe that's his goal. You know, we never know. Tuko hapa hivi, we might be attacking Deritu, kumbe hiyo ndio strategy yako. So
hapo ndio anatafutia unga.
Tuache tu Deritu pia atafute unga yake, na pia sisi for London tutafute yetu. Lakini ile siku mimi nitaamua kutafuta unga yangu, contrary to what he's pia yeye asinikujie kila mtu atafute unga yake.
Kila mtu atafute tu vile
anajua.
Wagani mbaya.
Sidivyo. Kila mtu afanye whatever is good. Kama ako good at that, hiyo ndio craft yake. All the best to him. We wish him all the best. For Lendwan, all the best to you guys. We wish you all the best. Mimi hata pia mimi nikitaka kuanzisha podcast yangu ya wamama. All the best to me.
Tunakuja hapa tu. Thank you very much.
Swish, umesema Swish nikakumbuka swali lakini acha tu.
Uliza.
Kuna timu ya Shauri Moyo mraid. Kila mtu alitoka store akaenda Swish. Kweli yope mafuta iko huko.
Mimi nasema tu vile tu mnajipaki.
Soko ni
kubwa.
Like I said, it's an open market. It's an open market. Timu nyingine ikikuja na iko na better market, like ibeba players of Swish. Tunakubali
Swish step up.
Tunakubali matokeo, but Swish originally ilianzia Nakuru. So we've been getting players from far and wide. Ati tumekuwa tu tukifocus on players which particular team. And your particular team, the manager and the coach are my friends, so there's no bad blood.
So hawakuna
Hawafiki, hana mafuta.
Hakuna mafuta.
Coach Abel tafuta mafuta.
We show the best.
Swish tutaanza kuifuata kwa karibu sana.
Uzuri wa kushauri pia.
So ameanza kwa home team.
So we are going to release you when check your game. We are very grateful that you came. Time yako umekaa ingawa tumepanga hii interview for long. But finally umeshow up. So si tunashukuru sana for this support that is so good.
We wish them the best.
Yeah, we wish you all the best. NT bado tunaendelea
kufuata tu.
I'll still be in your inbox nikiuliza tizi iko wapi siku gani.
Tukuje tuangalie hii kitu inafanywaje.
Na pia players wawili watatu wala media friend wakuje tu
watu ongelea.
Tunataka Desmond sana. Ambia Desmond
we need him because by there you said something interesting time yenye tulikuwa tunaanza. He is one of those guys when you support team initially when you started. So we know he has been a very very important part of hii journey ya Ntimba kama aliweza amefika. So it will be nice to have him akuja tupigie story. I used to mimi nilikuwa naishi na yeye kwa ile single room pale.
Sema tu vizuri wewe ni agent wake.